Hi, my name is Shannon Costello and I'm a registered dietitian for Corporate Fitness Works. Today we're in my home kitchen and we are going to make a sheet pan salmon and veggies recipe. Making dinner doesn't always have to be a chore with multiple dirty dishes or a long time to prepare. The beauty of this recipe is that you can make a well-balanced meal for multiple servings using just 1 or 2 sheet pans, and it only takes 30 minutes. Each meal component is used in making this sheet pan meal. Our meal components include a lean protein, a non-starchy vegetable, starchy carbohydrates, a healthy fat, and a flavor component. In this meal, our lean protein is, of course, the salmon. A 3-ounce portion of this Alaskan sockeye salmon has between 20 and 25 grams of protein. Salmon is actually considered a fatty fish, meaning it's a great source of omega-3 fatty acids, which are important for both brain and cardiovascular health. Other types of fatty fish are yellowfin tuna, sardines, striped bass, and mackerel. But be sure to purchase boneless and skinless salmon, and if you're using frozen, you'll want to thaw it in the refrigerator overnight, or at least 10 to 12 hours. Never thaw foods at room temperature on the counter, as this makes them prone to foodborne illness. Our non-starchy vegetables are green beans and grape tomatoes, but you can easily swap green beans for asparagus, broccoli, zucchini, yellow squash, you name it. Our starchy carbohydrate is either red or golden potatoes. Don't fear white potatoes because these are extremely rich in potassium and fiber, especially when you leave the skin on. Then we'll add some avocado or olive oil as another healthy fat option, with some freshly minced garlic and then different types of seasonings, and that's that flavor component of our meal. So first we'll need to preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and then line a sheet pan or baking sheet with either parchment paper or foil. Now, I'm gonna make this dinner for 2, but if you're making this for 4 or 6 servings, you may wanna use 2 sheet pans so that everything cooks evenly, and that just depends on the size of the pans that you have. So while the oven is preheating, go ahead and chop up your potatoes. Make sure they're about 1 to 2 inch dices. The smaller they are, the quicker they're going to cook. So this will eliminate that prep time again and the total cooking time by making sure that they're all cut evenly. So we have a mixture of gold and red potatoes there. And then we're going to mix up the garlic oil. So I'm using avocado oil because it's a high smoke point oil, which is great for grilling or roasting in the oven at high temperatures. Then just stir this with the minced garlic. We love our garlic, so I've kept mine in large pieces. And then I'm going to add some sea salt. You can always add more after you've already taste tested the finished potatoes, but we'll start with just a little bit there. And then just go ahead and drizzle half of the oil and garlic onto your potatoes. The other half we'll be using for the green beans when those are ready. And then just use your hands to toss that all together so that the potatoes are evenly coated in that oil and you've kind of broken up the garlic pieces, and you'll arrange them in a single layer across the pan. That way the surface area is exposed to the heat, and again, they can cook evenly. And then we'll start by just baking these for about 5 to 8 minutes so they have a head start, because potatoes do take a little longer to cook than our other vegetables. Now, while the potatoes are roasting, go ahead and trim the green beans if they're not already, or simply purchase those that are already trimmed to make it a little easier. Now, we're going to be cooking these veggies until al dente, so there's a little bit of a crunch to them. So if you like your veggies more cooked, you may want to add them in with the potatoes first, but then keep in mind that longer cooking times can alter the nutrition of your veggies, so be careful with that. Now we'll make the salmon marinade or seasoning. So we're going to add some more avocado or olive oil into our minced garlic. This time we're using little smaller pieces. Then we'll add a little bit of lemon juice, This is a great flavor combo and it helps with the cooking process of the salmon. Now, if you like more sweetness, then you're going to add more honey, but this is a good combination here. So about 1 tablespoon for these 2 fillets, but you can add 2 to 3 depending on how many fillets you're making. A little bit of salt, just a tiny bit. Fish already has a little bit of a salty flavor to them. And then your choice of dried seasoning. So I'm going to choose thyme. Thyme and honey is perfect together, but you can also use dried basil, dried oregano, an Italian seasoning blend, whatever floats your boat. And we'll just stir this together and let the flavors marinate until our potatoes come out of the oven. Once the potatoes are cooked, you're gonna scooch them over to one side of the pan and then go ahead and add your green beans and your grape tomatoes. And we'll drizzle that with the rest of our first garlic oil seasoning that just has the salt and pepper. So this will be the same seasoning as our potatoes. And then you can either use your hands, just be careful that the pan is hot, or you can use a pair of tongs and go ahead and toss those again. And we'll just kind of scooch this over to be with our potatoes and make some room for our salmon fillets. So once that is arranged there, go ahead and add your salmon. Mine seems to be a little stuck. So we'll do these here. And we're gonna brush the salmon marinade with a basting brush. Give it a nice stir, and then don't forget to scoop that yummy garlic on there. This is gonna be so good. And then we're gonna bake this for about 10 to 12 minutes until the salmon is light pink and is easily flaked with a fork. Now you'll also want to use a food-safe thermometer to check the internal temperature, and you'll place that thermometer in the thickest part of the fillet, and it should read 145 degrees Fahrenheit for fish. And here we have the perfect roasted dinner all on one pan and with minimal prep. If you're meal prepping this or have leftovers, it's best to eat leftover fish within 2 to 3 days. Otherwise, serve fresh and warm. Enjoy!